Bill Gates is donating $20 billion to the charitable foundations run by him and his former wife to increase its annual distributions. The donation brings the 22-year-old organization's endowment to almost $70 billion, which contains a grant of $3.1 billion from Warren Buffett. In today's video, we are going to discuss why Bill Gates is done being a billionaire. We will also discuss the future of the Gates Foundations. Stay tuned to know more. While referring to the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine and climate change, among others, Bill Gates said, "The great crisis of our time require all of us to do more." Bill Gates, in his personal blog, also wrote that as he looks to the future, his plan is to give all his wealth to the foundations other than what he spends on himself and his family. He can do some giving and investing in U.S. healthcare issues, including Alzheimer's, outside the foundation. Through Breakthrough Energy, he will continue to invest and give money to address climate change. Overall, he expects that the work in these areas will make money, which will also go to the foundation. He will move down and finally off from the list of the world's richest people. He also explained that over the past 2 decades, the Gates Foundation has gone from spending around $1 billion per year to spending almost $6 billion per year. During the pandemic, Melinda and Bill Gates approved spending an extra $2 billion so they could help with the COVID reactions without taking money away from other important work that they fund. From this commitment, $1.5 billion has been spent by the end of 2021, with staying commitments of up to $500 million that have not been spent. At that time, they expected the additional spending to stop once the sensitive phase of the pandemic was over. But it is now clear that the demand in all the areas where we work is bigger than ever. The great crisis of their time require all of us to do more. Bill Gates on world economy. The world economy is joining a low growth cycle with increasing interest rates and high inflation. Deficit spending will have to be reined in to decrease inflationary pressure. Government income will go down and more will be spent on interest payments, which will decrease the amount of money available for programs and make trade-offs important. Bill Gates Foundation's new purpose is to distribute $9 billion annually, which it hopes to achieve by 2026. This is also a 50% boost from its recent rate. Bill Gates' latest infusions of cash brings the foundation's total endowment to almost $70 billion. If you're liking this content so far, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Now, let's continue. Well, Melinda French Gates has also given a different timetable for the future of the Gates Foundations than the preceding one, which was laid out by her former husband Bill Gates. During Fortune's Most Powerful Women Summit in California, French Gates said that the Seattle-based foundations would proceed with its operations for 2 decades past the demise of herself or Bill Gates, whichever comes later. She said, "Just to be clear, the governance documents of the foundations, which I'm a co-signatory on as co-chair, say that it will last until 20 years after the death of the last of us, so that is the current state and plan." Speaking at a different event last month, Bill Gates said that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations would end in 2047. During the event, he explained that it is probably the period of time where Melinda and he will be around to help make sure it stays on track. They think spending all the money in that time frame makes sense, so they will be shifting money over and over. They are committed to raising the spending level up. At the time of Bill Gates' announcement in September, a foundation spokesperson also cited the governing documents, which state that the foundation's assets are to be distributed within 20 years of the death of the last of Bill, Melinda, or Warren Buffett. Co-chairs Gates and French Gates have the choice of working with the foundation's governing board to boost their spending levels or revise the governing documents. The future of the Gates Foundations was called into question after last year's divorce of its co-leaders. In July 2021, the foundations announced a 2-year trial period to see how effectively the couple could work together. At the conference, French Gates repeated her commitment to the foundation. She said her values are baked into that institutions, and so what she knows is that she has to show up as her best self every single day. The International Health Focus Foundation has more than $70 billion in assets and given out $65.6 billion since its launch in 2000. The organization, which also addresses issues of education, equity, and poverty, recently said that by 2026 it would improve its annual giving to $9 billion, up from $6 billion. If the foundations were to wrap up by 2047, Bill Gates would be 91 and French Gates would be 83. Warren Buffett, who is 92, has already contributed $35.7 billion to the foundation. With that being said, It's time to end our today's video. Press the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stuff. Peace out.